Black people, go ahead and log off for me because you're finished. Hey guys, Jock Jellybean here. So today I'm here to address this TikTok trend that has been blown out of proportion within the Black community. And if you've been on TikTok and happen to be Black, you might have seen the trend, but I'm gonna explain it anyways. It's the, as a Black person, I am afraid to admit blah, blah, blah. So the first time that I even witnessed this trend going on, it was something small. It was some woman talking about how she's afraid to admit that she uses sunscreen because within the Black community, sunscreen was seen as like, not necessary because we're Black and it's all fun and games till you burn your shoulder off at the beach. And we all learned that we need sunscreen. Everyone needs sunscreen. Everyone needs protection from the sun. But anyways, it was something as small as that. But now it has escalated to people talking about they're afraid of hood people. That's really what this new argument is coming from. And it all started from really this one woman's post. But before I get to that, I just wanted to clarify that I am not here to take sides because this thing has become a suburban versus hood people type of class war. And I'm not here to take sides at all. What is the need to take sides for? But I will be sharing some videos from both sides that appear to be making points, but also show the flaws in both of their standpoints. And really just talking about them both because it's not even the issue that we're arguing about. Should you be afraid of hood people or not? There's a bigger issue going on here that I will discuss at the end of the video. So anyways, let's get started. So as I said before, this argument is really stemming from one post. And this post is a woman talking about how she's nervous and anxious around hood people. This has already made the Black community go up in an uproar just from the single statement because of how it is worded. And even once you open the comments for her post, you can see the top comment and it really explains how people think and how this has even blown out of proportion in the first place. So this person said, saying you're afraid of the hood or the people that live in it just further perpetuates the idea that poor and or Black people are dangerous / criminal, which we know isn't necessarily true. Now, I understand that they were trying to say that her saying that she's afraid or nervous around hood people gives the idea that everyone in the hood is a criminal, but then they also mention Black people, and that's already an issue in itself because this person is insinuating Black people are the only ones who live in the hood. Like, it's a continuous cycle of saying inaccurate things. But moving on from this post, I'm going to talk about the two different standpoints that are stemming from the conflict of her post. So I'm going to talk about those who think that being scared, nervous, anxious, whatever, of hood people is valid, and the other stance is that it's not valid, that you shouldn't be scared, nervous, anxious, whatever, have negative feelings towards hood people. So first I'm going to show you this guy who says that, being scared of hood people is valid, basically. So let me show you that video.
The outrage over that trend where it's like, as a Black person, I feel scared to admit is crazy because y'all get mad at folks because they say that they scared of hood people or they scared of ghetto people. But let's be honest, if you at a house party, you see somebody walk in and you don't get the hell up out of there, you're stupid. Oh, look at me, I'm progressive. I don't care if I get shut up. Oh.
So in this video, this guy really just talks about how you're pretty much stupid if you're not afraid of hood people. And he gives like a funny little scenario of a guy walking in with his hood on, and I don't know if he was insinuating a gun in pocket, but that's what I got from it. And just saying like, you're stupid if you're not afraid of that. And I get what he was trying to say, because that is oftentimes how people view hood people. I personally, whenever I view a hood, whenever someone mentions a hood person, I literally think of a stereotypical black guy wearing a hood or a mask, carrying a gun, because that's how hood people are portrayed in the media. He gave a representation of what most people are thinking. Now, is it morally right? No, but it is what it is. But the problem with this, obviously, is that he's generalizing all hood people. You need to specify criminals within the hood, because as we said before, a hood is just a place. It shouldn't be someone's character, personality, or behavior. But unfortunately, that's what most people know. That's how most people associate hood, which is where the problem is stemming from, really. So next video.
This, I get nervous and anxious around ghetto hood people. I don't like the conversation because it's causing a divide in the community. And part of the reason why it's causing a divide is because it's turning into a suburban versus hood conversation instead of it being a mentality conversation. Because it doesn't matter what neighborhood you grew up in. You could have grew up in the hood, you could have grew up in the suburbs. That has nothing to do with your mentality. You got girls who ain't never stepped foot in the hood acting like a sexy red. You got dudes who ain't never stepped foot in the hood acting like NBA YoungBoy. Right? So this has nothing to do with anything besides the mentality. I hate how y'all done turn this into a classism situation and how y'all are being so disingenuous, because you know good and well nobody meant that everybody from the hood are criminals. You knew that. You knew that. I read through the comment section. I didn't take anybody's comments as that. I don't think anybody thought that everybody who from the hood are criminals and bad people, and that just in general people from the hood or that are ghetto make people anxious and nervous. Y'all knew exactly who they was talking about when they said that. You knew exactly the group of people who make them anxious and nervous. It's the group of people that should make you anxious and nervous because they willing to crash out and they'll take you along with it. You knew that though, but y'all are turning this into classism more than anything.
So I really love this woman's video. She did say a lot in her video, but I only showed the parts that I was really going to be talking about. But she made a lot of good points. And what I like that she said was that how she did mention that it's really the mentality, not really the hood, but it's the mentality that some people within the hood have. And I really liked how she was saying how we knew what she was talking about as far as hood people, because I realized a lot of people are like, oh, you can't just generalize everyone in the hood, but I feel like collectively as a people, we knew who she was talking about when she says hood people. There's art, like I said before, when I think of hood people, I don't think of literally every single type of person in the hood. There's literally a narrative and a stereotype with it. But I guess it's really irritating for me when some people want to act like they want to downplay the severity of the hood and act like it's really not that bad, and that if you mind your business, nothing's gonna happen to you. And I just find it funny that it's these same people, once they're in an altercation or something, they're quick to admit where they're coming from, where they're repping. It's if the hood isn't that bad, why are you saying you from Chicago or some other place that is known for crime if you weren't trying to imply the fact that you're tougher, or you've seen worse, or you're not someone to mess with? It's like you're trying to use the stereotypes when it's beneficial to you. But then again, no matter how much we might want to say that people did know who she meant when she said hood people, it is important to still specify that. So I know this woman said we knew who she was talking about, but in this day and age, you can't just make assumptions like that without being blasted all over social media. So, yeah. So I'm gonna show you this last video in regards to being scared of hood people is valid. So last video on that.
Now, I didn't grow up in the hood, but I worked in the hood. And when I tell y'all, that was one of the most miserable experiences of my entire life. You could not look at them wrong. They wanted to fight. You could not be quiet. If you were quiet, it's you think you're all that. You think you're better than us. Like, they just say the most uneducated, ignorant stuff I've ever heard in my life. Around hood people, you don't feel safe. You feel like you have to watch your purse, watch your belongings. You have to watch your back. And I remember when I used to go just walk inside of the gas station and a car full of hood girls would just laugh and talk trash. And it's like, you don't even know me. You're just random people on the street. You're just so ignorant. It's just always negativity. They're always down to fight. They're always loud. They're always like, ew. Like, I'm so glad that Tampa is so segregated and I don't have to go on that side of town. And I know that sounds terrible, but like a lot of things I'm just so traumatized by. I do not get along with hood chicks at all.
So this video was pretty long. I did not show all of it, but she basically gave a synopsis of her bad experiences while working within the hood. And she was just saying, like, you know, she felt a lot of negative vibes and that you couldn't look at someone wrong without them wanting to pop off, and that people were looking at her as if she thought that she was better than them and stuff like that. And okay, fine, like that's her experience. She's valid in having her experiences, but later in the video, she really starts generalizing people in the hood as a whole. So what I didn't like in the video is that she started saying how everyone there is negative and how they're loud and always ready to fight and stuff, and how she's glad that wherever she's living in Tampa or whatever she said is sort of segregated from, I guess, the hood of Tampa. And it was starting to sound really weird. It was starting to sound like how racist people would justify being racist towards black people. It was giving like, I'm glad I don't have to be near them people. But I understand that like when you have bad experiences, it's easy to generalize everyone, especially if you've had multiple bad experiences sort of supporting your thoughts, supporting your opinions. And although her experience is valid, her generalizations and stereotypings are invalid, because not everyone in the hood, of course, is like that. And I just feel like you can say that you're afraid or you're traumatized by the hood without saying that everyone there is ignorant and uneducated. I forgot that she did say that, because that's simply not true. Like, now you're just adding fuel to the fire, or whatever that saying is. But of course, again, that happens when you have a bad experience. So moving on to the other standpoint, which is being nervous, anxious, scared of hood people is not valid. So now I'm going to show this video that was actually in response to the previous video that I just showed you guys.
And that's somebody who grew up mostly in the hood. I'm from Ensley, Alabama, and then I moved to the suburbs. One thing about y'all suburban bitches, y'all will pretend y'all better than the bitch from the hood, but y'all bed on the floor. I ain't never had no bed on the floor. Leave hood people alone, because they're not bothering you. They're not bothering you. The hood is just simply a place. It's a whole bunch of people in the hood, a whole bunch of different characters, just like everywhere else. We just lack resources. And y'all got some audacity to be looking down on people who make something out of nothing. Because if, like, bro, y'all get anxiety over your boss, like, telling you something. And you think you can compare it to somebody? You think you can talk about somebody from the hood, bro? Holla at me when you had to learn in the school where you ain't had no books and end up with 2 degrees and own your own business. That's the type of shit the hood made. That's what the hood did for me. It made me not be a soft, lame ass broad like y'all. And like this girl in the video, you fraudulent. Yes, we do like to fight. We do like to fight, but not unprovoked. Because I would definitely smack somebody like the girl in that video. I would look at, I would definitely ask her, what is you looking at? Because I can tell you the type of person that do be looking at people the way they think you looking at them. If y'all would have actually grew up in the hood, you'll have some character, you'll have some grit about yourself. You won't be crying about every little thing, crying about who don't like you, crying about not having no real friends. Y'all hoes is charming, paper tissue soft. And that's why you don't like hood people, because we see through it.
This woman right here basically said, like, you know, she's from the hood. She's got 2 degrees, business, giving a positive outlook on the hood, which was great. But what I did not like about her video was that in order to prove her point, she also decided to bash suburban black women as a whole because of this one lady. People have trouble defending themselves without bashing the other party. So she ended up saying how, yes, she does like to fight, which confirms what the previous lady said about people who live in the hood, that they are always down to fight. But she said she only fights when provoked, and that she would definitely fight the previous lady because she can tell when someone is fraudulent. She can tell when when she's being looked at in a certain way. And I understand that you can gauge if someone's looking at you in a weird, like, judging way, but that doesn't give you the okay to fight someone. Like, if someone's looking at me in a weird way, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna turn back around and go the way that I came from if they're suspicious or something. And if they're, like, not suspicious, I'm gonna mind my business, because you're fighting for what? Like, you don't have to fight over every little thing. And I just feel like her points were sort of diminished because that's how people view people in the hood. And then another thing she says that I did not particularly like, she really just starts talking about how suburban women have no character, they're weak, they're soft, and if they lived up in the hood, they would have character and grit, and also they wouldn't be worried about who likes them and whether or not they have friends. And I didn't like this statement because she was making it seem like those who live in the suburbs, their struggles aren't as bad as those who live in the hood, because struggle and challenges do build character. So she's making it seem like, you know, those who live in the suburbs are worth nothing, which does not really help the conversation at all. On to the next video. I low-key forgot to actually record myself responding to it, but I'm gonna show you guys anyways and then leave a voiceover talking about it.
The ghetto people y'all are so scared about, that y'all posting about, they don't give a fuck about y'all. Like, I'm not even trying to be funny, they not stun y'all. Like, I promise y'all the last thing on their mom. I think y'all associate criminals in the word ghetto or hood people as the same. Just because you're from the hood, it doesn't mean that you're a criminal, and just because you're a criminal doesn't mean you're from the hood. What y'all really don't like is criminals. But you bitches don't want to say that. You bitches are talking about, oh, I don't like hood people, I don't like ghetto people. No, bitch, you hoes is biased, and it's just like, I don't know, y'all, it's giving anti-black. Like, I don't know what y'all thought y'all was giving, or y'all thought y'all was eating by saying, oh, I'm a suburban black girl, I don't like hood girls. Bitch, like, who are y'all trying to impress?
So when I first watched this video, I was agreeing with her as far as it's important to separate hood people from criminals, because that's really what people are talking about when they say hood people, which is why there needs to be a distinction so that there's no confusion. But once she starts talking about you being anti-black for saying you don't like hood people, that's where I sort of fell off at, because it sort of insinuates, like in that one comment at the beginning of the video I told you about, that the hood is only filled with black people, as if hood is synonymous with black people. So I'm just like, I don't see how that's anti-black. And also, even if she were to say like hood black people, it still wouldn't be anti-black, because anti-black to me sounds like you're against all black people. If you're only against hood people, then, you know, that's not anti-black. You're just prejudiced. You just have, you're just against those who live in the hood. I don't know what you would call that, but it's not anti-black at all, because the hood does not classify, or it doesn't encompass all black people. It's the same when you say someone is anti-social. That doesn't mean that they don't socialize with everyone except one group. Like, no, that means they do not like to socialize at all. Like, it's a definite type of word. So yeah, she lost me right there. I showed all of this to say that we should be ashamed. Like, this whole thing was embarrassing. It's not even about the whole hood versus suburban thing. It's the fact that we started this trend as a Black community in order to create a safe space for other Black people to say, what they're afraid to admit. And really, it was supposed to give like a relatable type of thing to other Black people who might have done the same thing. Then our own trend became our own war. Like, we did this on ourselves. Like, we literally created a whole issue. We cannot come together for the smallest things. And I know usually when Black people are divided, we like to play victim. We like to be like, oh, it's all because of like, when we were enslaved and stuff, like we were pinned against each other, which is true. But we created this trend and we're still dividing ourselves amongst each other. No, that has nothing to do with history at this point, because what I saw here is that we're not even making an effort to get along with each other. How can we honestly, as a Black community, ask, demand, and beg for equality from other racial groups when we can't even do that amongst ourselves? We can't even treat our own people equally and fairly and right without any prejudices. So now when you go to work and Karen and Kevin's talking about, your people, you can't even say like stop talking about them, because they're gonna see that you posted something that said, oh, I'm afraid of hood Black people. Then they're gonna be like, well, you said it. How come we can't say it? You can't even defend yourself anymore. You can't talk about your own people in front of other people. And I'm not even saying we can't speak up about things that's happening in the Black community, but Blasted doesn't have to be on this massive social media platform where everyone sees what's going on here. Did it have to be on this? No, it didn't. So next time when you decide to speak your piece, please be sure that you are articulating correctly and as concisely as possible so that there are no misunderstandings. Let's be specific here about who you're talking about to try and minimize any phrases and words that might be rubbed the wrong way. Yes, let's do better. As my brother would say, let's lock in, please. Get locked in. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'm finna go eat some lunch. So bye, have an awesome day.